Point, Mr. Doval,
let me tell you that don't mix up the things.
Last
you
point.
must start with the political forces in Delhi. Now, I will tell you one thing. It is not a question of which party.
Mr. Doval.
No government of India, whosoever is in power, will ever allow
Let me make the last point, please.
any violent action.
Maybe,
sir,
when the Supreme Court of India...
I think it is totally...
When the Supreme Court of India intervenes...
One second, Mr. Doval and Niels. 1 second, I'm coming in now. 1 second.
Arnab, what is happening
One
here?
second. 1 second, Miss. One second.
Let me...
I simply on one point. Miss Karat, before I come to you, make one point. Now you see, Niels, K Doval, who's a very respected ex-intelligence official, is challenging your whole theory that you came from Bombay to Delhi, that you went in an MP's car, you had all these security men around you, they let you out of India. He's challenging your whole claim that you were let out, you were virtually escorted out by the government. You were allowed to get out of India, you didn't disappear. I want you to respond on that one point to Mr. Doval tonight. Yes, go ahead. Mr. Doval, Niels is responding on that one point.
Yes,
well, I understand that the politician's father has admitted the fact that their house was used by somebody came from... I was there, somebody came from outside and facilitated my escape. But of course it is a difficult claim because I was alone and it is a one claim. But I'd like to make just one simple point. That is that all the idea of presidential rule is something which I don't understand, and I agree with the honourable gentleman that I am not knowledgeable about internal Indian affairs to state that. But when the Indian Supreme Court has ordered the PUCL to investigate the atrocities committed by the communist gundas in Purulia.
1 second.
When
the fundamental point you're not answering.
Let me just make my point, Arnab. I have to make this point.
You're not answering the fundamental point.
The point is that the Congress party was making right in approving this arms drop. Maybe the Congress party was concerned that the CPIM continued violence in West Bengal was getting out of hand. They were stating this officially in the beginning of the 90s. Now, there are several public statements by the Congress party in the early 90s where they say...
But Niels, what is the business...
One point. Can I have a chance to speak here?
1 point.
And how did you go to Nepal? I will be able to tell you how you went to Nepal. Whom did you contact from Bombay? How Anand Margis took you away from there? And how then you went to Calcutta and from there to West Bengal. And from there you were brought to the border area and then pushed into Nepal and from there taken out.
This is a cock and bull story. Bring your proof, sir.
It's probably a total cock and bull story.
Okay. Now, Ms. Karat.
You are just the point.
Now, can I make a point here, please?
How would anyone know? How would anyone know that you are landing at Bombay? Till this aircraft landed at Bombay, nobody knew that it will land at Bombay.
The story.
It was force landed by a MiG-21 aircraft.
Mr. Doval, I have to go to Ms. Karat. Niels, 1 second, please. 1 second, please. Gentlemen, I'm intervening.
Yeah, okay.
Please.
Sure.
You see, the point tonight
I'll
is
make
this.
a point in a minute.
The point tonight is this. What is the larger issue at hand? I want to go on the larger issue to Brinda Karat. The larger issue is this. There are these charges being made of complicity. Now, can we disregard this whole notion of complicity when we know we don't have access to the documents? Documents are denied. Now, I don't get a sense anyone's telling us the complete truth. But the fact is, we don't know the truth. That is the fact, isn't it, Ms. Karat? We have to take the story forward. Someone's got to launch an investigation.
Can I come in here?
We have to also go by the evidence. When we talk about the need to get down to the truth, it is precisely because the anti-communist nature of that conspiracy could be equally valid and could be tried again in India. We are facing an election in West Bengal. We know the kind of forces who are operating here, and therefore it is all the more required for these agencies to understand that this kind of dirty politicking is not going to be tolerated and will be exposed. Now the gentleman who's the ex-officer of the intelligence agency, he has made a whole lot of assertions in a very forceful and aggressive way, but I really didn't find any logic in any of his arguments. Could he explain, for example, why it was that since the MI5, and this is a matter of record, did inform the intelligence agencies and the government of India, why then were the intelligence agencies so calm and so negligent about it that they sent the information through registered posts, which took 1 week to reach the West Bengal government after the whole thing was over. Why is it that the CBI, the great intelligence agency, which Mr. I didn't get his name, Doval, I think, have given such certificates to, why have they not gone after Mr. Kim Davy? As Mr. Kim Davy says, he himself is surprised. He's giving public statements in Denmark, and the CBI is telling the court here, we don't know where he is. If that is not complicity, what is it? What are the answers?
Yes, Peter.
Why, when Mr. Peter Bleach honestly and candidly said that he was given a presidential pardon on the eve of his giving a statement to a High Court judge, these are issues which need further explanation. Therefore, I'm sure Jayanthi ji will agree with me when we say what is required is a high-level inquiry. We want explanations. We want the documents. We don't want just to have to depend on RTI. We want the full story out so that it can never happen again. And those who are guilty of it, the MPs, the government officials, the intelligence agencies are all held accountable.
Yes, I will
the
be
entire
happy. 1 second, let Ms. Natarajan come in, then I'm going to Peter Bleach. Yes, Ms. Natarajan.
And I'm sorry, Arnab, the entire issue cannot be put down. It is a much larger issue. It cannot be put down to what Brinda Karat is calling an anti-communist and an anti-communist plan. I'm afraid it's way too simple for that. The very same BJP that gave Peter Bleach that presidential pardon have put up candidates in every constituency in West Bengal where the election is going on. I question, you took umbrage against a political slant. I'm saying it's not just the BJP. I'm saying, you know, this is a time when there are elections in West Bengal, and I would like to know how come the story is coming up today. So the issue really is
the story is coming up today. 1 minute. Ms. Natarajan,
just one small point
because you're insinuating something.
Please.
The story is coming out today.
Just a small point here.
I would like to complete. I'm sorry. I would like to complete what I'm saying.
Please do.
So the fact is that it's not some major anti-communist. You know, there are times when the BJP and the communists have joined hands. They both supported the VP Singh government against the Congress. You know, everything is not always about being anti-left.
No, but
the fact of the matter is, and once again, I repeat very strongly, that it is not for me, it is for the government and the government spokespersons to answer these questions. But to take a voice...
Can I come in now?
Okay, now I'm going
who was accused of conspiring against...
1 minute, gentlemen. I'm going to Peter Bleach next.
Later, to question
I
must let Peter Bleach. 1 minute. 1 minute, Mr. Bleach. 1 minute, Brinda Karat. 1 minute. I just want Peter Bleach. He's asked me 5 times, and I think
Trinamool Congress, which is now a partner of Jayanthi Natarajan in Bengal, was sitting in the Vajpayee government, which allowed Peter Bleach...
Okay, now before it gets politicized, further, Ms. Karat, now let me come in. You made your point. Ms. Karat, allow me now. Allow me. I just will say one thing. Let politicians come in for what they want. Let them fight for what they want.
Who was the Home Minister.
1 minute.
And I'm talking about
the anti-incumbency vote.
Who is your leader in Bengal?
She was sitting in that government.
Ladies, can I please come in, please? Ma'am, can I please come in? Ms. Natarajan, Ms. Karat. I respect you both greatly. Let me come in, please. But see, my point is this. I'm not into any politics, but the fact is the issue of national security. Yes, Peter, you wanted to come in. Yes, go on, please.
Yes, I do. And I have a great deal of sympathy with the Honourable Lady for what she is saying, and to a certain extent I agree with her. But look, the point is this. In this programme that you've put together, whatever the reason might be that it's 16 years ago, the fact is a huge amount has come out in these last few days. Now, I would like to ask my honourable colleagues on this panel here, and before I do that, let me just say this. I'm very pleased to be free of the courtesy of His Excellency the President and his pardon. I'm delighted with that, and I have immense gratitude to His Excellency for that. But I would say I would far rather have been released by the court than by His Excellency, because in a little way I feel I've been shortchanged. Now surely, colleagues, the time has come. Enough has come out now. there must be a judicial inquiry into what has happened here. That is the only way forward. Then we can get rid of the political things. Some independent judge of perhaps the Supreme Court of India, fantastic court. I wish we had this system here in England. These are the people to look into this. Take the evidence. Let's find out what happened at last. I, for one, have got nothing to hide. I would be more than happy to stand before a judge of the High Court or a judge of the Supreme Court tomorrow.
Reopen it.
I would like to know if the honourable colleagues on this panel would support a judicial inquiry into the Purulia arms drop.
Support? I guess there should be no reason to discount it. Anyone opposes on the panel tonight a judicial inquiry? Reopening of the case, declassification of the documents, bringing in more witnesses, let us having a public scrutiny over it. Jayanthi Natarajan, you're going to oppose it?
No, it's entirely for government to decide. It's not my brief to oppose or take a view on this. I speak for my party, and with the greatest of respect, he's on the panel today. But I don't believe I should really be in a debate with Mr. Bleach, because he has been accused of very serious things in this country. I appreciate what he says about wanting to come before a court and declare one that he would have preferred it if he had appeared before a court. But it chills my blood to hear Mr. Bleach telling this country what to do.
Jayanthi,
I think this government and this country...
I am not telling you what to do, madam. I'm saying let a judge decide.
No matter what the left or Mr. Bleach may think, I think this country and these people of our country, our fellow citizens, are perfectly capable of deciding what to do and how to go forward.
Mr. Natarajan, it's also quite clear to everyone that there has been a cover-up. We can't have a second cover-up. Udayan, my question to you here is, where does the story go from here, Udayan? You've researched the story, you know its intricate details. Where does it go from here?
Well, we have laid whatever we have right at the doorstep of the government. This is all that serious investigative journalism can do. And like the Watergate investigation or the Kennedy assassination investigation, here are the facts, madam, before the Prime Minister of India. We presume you enjoy his ear. Now, in the interests of the people of India, against whom a terrible conspiracy was lodged, not for the first time, we know the Bhindranwale story, we know the Udayan Namboodiri part story. Will this end? Please. And secondly, why do our intelligence agencies, Mr. Doval, still work for political parties? Is it not a fact that the IB regularly supplies information to their political masters about which party is going to win how many seats in the coming elections? Is this what we are? My money is being used for?
Well, I think there are some big questions that have been raised tonight.
And then listen to the answer.
No, Mr. Doval.
Let us not change the framework of our discussion today. This is a larger question,
very much
an independent question.
Let us talk about the seminal issues, Mr. Doval. Enough of name calling.
Now,
the truth is out.
Come on, let me respond.
Let's talk about seminal issues.
Question. Please have the patience to listen. Firstly, I have told you and I repeat it, that the intelligence agencies have never been used. Firstly, I have told you and I repeat it, that the intelligence agencies have never been used, and the intelligence agencies will never agree to be part of...
Well, Mr. Doval, there is right now a report at the present moment.
That any government of India, it is irrespective of the parties, any government of India...
At the present moment, Mr. Doval, IDSA has come out with a report proposing reform of the intelligence agency.
My question is simply this tonight, and I'm putting this question to the people of this country tonight. There is a clear option. The truth has not been told. And I want to ask everyone watching the news hour tonight, tell us what you think. You have two people. One is a fugitive, the other has been let off by a presidential pardon. You have a version of the truth which is coming out, which either shows a conspiracy or a mix of a conspiracy and massive incompetence. You have the angle of alleged political treachery. Are we supposed to say on the news hour, this is the story, and from here let's not ask any more questions, let's do another second cover-up? Will the people of this country accept a second cover-up into the biggest ever, worst kept secret of our internal security framework? The question is out there for you. And finally, people say why the story came out now. Well, the story came out now because Kim Davy is petrified of coming back to India and he wants to talk. It's as simple as that. You can read motive into it. It would be foolish to read motive into it. The question is in the